Have you ever held a jar of honey and thought, how did bees actually make this? It seems simple, but what's happening inside a hive is one of nature's most extraordinary engineering feats. I'm Travis from Sticky Bee Apiary, and today we're going inside the hive to follow that journey, from a single flower all the way to liquid gold. Every day, worker bees leave the hive on a mission. They're foragers, and they're looking for two things: nectar and pollen. Nectar is the sugary liquid hidden deep inside flowers. Pollen is the protein-packed powder flowers produce for reproduction. Bees need both to keep the colony alive and thriving. To collect nectar, bees use their proboscis, basically a straw-like tongue, to sip it up and store it in a special compartment called the honey stomach. And as they move from flower to flower, pollen sticks to their fuzzy bodies. They brush it into little bundles on their back legs called pollen baskets. Yes, bees literally have baskets on their legs. Nature is wild. Once a forager bee is fully loaded, she heads back to the hive and passes the nectar to house bees, bees whose job is to stay inside and process everything that comes in. The pollen gets packed into cells and fermented into something called bee bread, a nutrient-dense food that fuels the young larvae and keeps the colony strong. Meanwhile, the nectar begins its transformation. Fresh nectar is about 70% water, way too runny to store. So the house bees deposit it into wax honeycomb cells and fan their wings to create airflow, slowly evaporating the moisture out. At the same time, they're mixing the nectar with enzymes from their own bodies. These enzymes break down complex sugars into simpler ones, making the honey more stable and less likely to crystallize over time. Once the nectar thickens down to about 17 to 18% water content, the bees seal the cell with a wax cap. That's it. That's honey. And here's the wild part: properly sealed honey never spoils. Archaeologists have found honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that was still edible thousands of years later. Here's something most people don't know. Bees don't make honey for us. They make it to survive winter. When flowers stop blooming and nectar disappears, honey is their entire food supply. It's energy-dense, shelf-stable, and perfectly designed to feed a colony through months of cold. We're really just fortunate guests at their table. And while all of this is happening, bees are doing something else just as important: pollinating. Every time a bee moves from flower to flower, it transfers pollen and helps plants reproduce. Honeybees are responsible for pollinating a huge portion of the food we eat. Without them, our grocery stores would look very, very different. So the next time you see a bee, maybe don't swat it. So next time you drizzle honey on your yogurt or light a beeswax candle, think about the incredible journey behind it. From buzzing fields of wildflowers through thousands of tiny workers to something pure and golden. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing to Sticky Bee Apiary and let us know what type of flowers you offer our little pollinators. Stay safe, be kind. See you in the next one.